Cal in SoCal, and I'm going to be reviewing the MAONO PD200X. And I'm smiling because I call it MAONO. I have no idea how you're going to pronounce it. I've heard MAONO and a few other approaches. I take the Latin language approach, short A, long O, MAONO. So, the MAONO PD200X. Dynamic mic, unique to this mic, and now with others, there's both an XLR and a USB-C output coming from the mic body. It is a microphone that has been called a budget mic. So my question is it a budget microphone? And if I'm comparing it in the under $100 price range to other microphones, yes, it's in that category. But I'm sort of realizing after testing a few other budget mics that this is, I think, a cut above. The way I'm doing the review, I've actually got my A6400 Sony camera running, and what I'm feeding into the camera is my wireless lapel mic system. Transmitter is here, and of course the receiver's on the camera. At the very same time, I am recording, and I'm checking out a 7-inch monitor right over there that is monitoring my output from the MAONO, going through the boom and over to a tower system computer over there, USB-C cabling to a USB-A going into the computer. About what you get with the mic, by the way, you don't get the earbuds. I'm sure you figured that out. I use buds because they're a little easier, although they tend to want to fall out every now and then. You get a USB-C to USB-A cable, and you get an internal and external threaded adapter for mounting this microphone for other applications and different types of stands. What you don't get is the XLR cable. You'll be providing that yourself. You certainly get a built-in pop filter, this foam piece here. The cartridge, the mic cartridge, of course, is below. You get the microphone, of course, and you get this suspension adapter here. And I might add, and it's very important, I've got a small, this is out of my mini screwdriver kit, Phillips head. There is a screw that tightens the ring around the microphone in respect to your isolation adapter here. Okay, so if I want to true up my microphone, turn the mic body itself, I found that I can just go to the Phillips head screw that's on the ring here and just unscrew it and reposition the mic and tighten it up. You don't want to over tighten for sure. So that's what you get with the mic, and it didn't take me very long to figure everything out. I think the only thing that took a little time on the bottom side was the fancy little button that controls the aura light around the perimeter of the microphone. So let's take a look at the controls. Okay, let's take a look at the back side of the mic. You're going to see, and I bet you've read this on the vendor page, of course, this is a dual function dial. You push it in and it's a switch, and it'll switch from green to blue. And green is gain, and blue is your earphone monitoring, or as I have reminded myself, green for gain, blue for buds, meaning earbuds. So that's my way of remembering it. Now, I'm going to tell you, if there were anything I didn't care for about this mic, and I do like the microphone, when it's in the green gain position, what I found is that you only have tactile detents. You can feel them. I counted how many it took, how many total detents there were between zero gain and full gain. And you know you're at zero or full because when you counterclockwise the dial, when you get to zero, the ring here, the green ring, starts blinking. When you max out the dial on the gain, the green starts blinking. Well, I did it very slowly, and I came up with a total of 25 detents as I turned that dial, like clicks, but it's sort of a gentle detent. So the point is, I went to maximum, and I did some testing and found I was clipping my audio a bit, so I backed off about 5 detents, and that's what you're hearing now. I've got maximum -5 detents, and I was doing a little adjusting in my post-editing software, my video editor. So this button, it's a nice way to go, but the other thing is I've got larger fingers than a thin-fingered person, and I found that the knob just wasn't long enough. I wish they had made it a little longer so I could get a better grip on it, because when I was trying to do the detent turn, because there are no markings, everything is by the LED, I just had to wet my fingers a little bit or they were slipping. Anyway, so you go from the green, and then if I push it in, you can see it goes blue. Now I'm going to adjust. Well, I'm not going to touch it, but I already made my adjustments. Then I go back to gain. Up here, you've got a mute button, so in the middle of talking, you just don't hear anything. And then, of course, when I hit it again, we're back. That's the back side. And the only thing I didn't show you, and I guess I'll try it now, I haven't mastered it, but, and I'm trying to talk into the mic, by the way, if I choose to go back and forth, well, I will go back and forth, but want to make sure you can hear through the mic. This little button on the bottom of the mic, if you tap it, there we go. So you have to hold it 2 seconds and it switches, and then you hit it and there it goes to an amber. I don't even know if you can see these colors given my 3200 Kelvin lighting. There it's green. Tap it again, it's a dark green. Tap it, it's blue. And there's another one in here. It's a, there it is. It's an undulating LED. I'm not sure I'd ever want that, quite honestly. I just tapped it back to white. I like the simple illumination. Not that I need it, but if I'm going to have the illumination, I think I'd rather just keep it basic. It's sort of a high Kelvin, color. It's up in the 5600 Kelvin category. So that's a brief description of the mic. My opinion of the MAONO microphone, and again, I just can't help but get back to the word budget. It's a cut above every other budget mic I have used and reviewed. I've got a good number of dynamic mics that have been coming in for review, and I have to tell you, one of the mics from a name brand and at a price that's about twice what this one is priced at, it definitely sounds good. It's at the high end of the prosumer level. But if I were going to recommend a mic to a friend who was just starting to podcast or a stream, or maybe was a gamer, I would recommend this mic. I would feel absolutely comfortable recommending it. The audio is good. I like the features. It just works well for me, and I may not use this myself on a regular basis, but if I needed to use it, I wouldn't have a problem. The one thing I want to tell you is if and when you purchase this microphone, you're going to be, well, I was pleased with the instruction set. This manual has something that a lot of the other mics didn't have. And it's, for me, a very basic thing. And if you look on the page here, of course, you see the specifications. But you'll notice that it shows the mic pattern and it shows frequency response. This is, of course, their rating. But given the quality of this budget microphone, I tend to trust that that the numbers are reasonably good, reasonably accurate. So I like the fact that I could actually see the mic pattern. This is not something that I found on other microphone instruction booklets, and it's well written. They go into details about connecting through Windows, connecting with a Mac product. It's a thorough, easy to read, and it makes sense. It's like somebody actually proofread it. Well, listen, I like the microphone. It's a 5-star item, quite simply. I think Amazon is offering what I believe to be an extremely good option if you're getting into narration, streaming, podcasting, etc. I'm primarily camera-based, and I'm using all of these dynamic USB microphones, not the XLR. I've really tried it, and it was more trouble than it needed to be. And of course, there's a trade-off. USB, it's software controlled, and XLR, you've got the external hardware, and I'm just not needing the external hardware because of the type of video work I do. So I think it's a good mic. I'd recommend it, and that's my opinion.
Here's the manual. You see some of the same information about the product. Read about the description here, and it looks like the sampling rate and word length is 24-bit, 48 kilohertz, which is a reasonable sampling rate and word length for voice. The frequency response of the microphone, 40 to 16 kilohertz. I don't know what the tolerances are. You can see in the graph here where they sort of draw this frequency response. It doesn't look like this is actually a measurement of this particular unit, but this may be a typical frequency response for this microphone, but that's perfectly acceptable for voice recording, so it covers the human frequency range for voice. And there's also a gain range from 0 to 42 decibels. I don't know if that's going to be enough because the sensitivity here, it looks like 52 dBV per Pascal, so you might need to apply 50 dB or more of gain on your mixer in order to get a decent usable level here. And for USB, it looks like negative 10.5 dBFS, so it's negative 10 decibels full scale that it'll register when you input 1 Pascal of sound pressure level. And the maximum SPL that this supports is 130. So just look a little bit closely at this frequency response curve. So it said 40 hertz, and the lower end of the graph is 50 hertz here. So we really don't know what's going on at 40, but you can see that this is a pretty steep drop-off here. So normally these are calibrated at 1 kilohertz. So it looks like we're at negative 13 or so at 1K. So negative 13 at 50, we're at negative 28. So negative 13 to 28. That is about 15 decibels of drop-off by the time you get to 50 hertz. It's probably even more than that once you get to 40. It looks fairly flat, though, in the lower frequency range, other than you're getting a drop-off around maybe 120 hertz here. So you won't get a lot of low-end frequency response there because it is dropping off fairly rapidly there. but it does look like you get a bit of presence boost here at 5K and also at 6, 7, 8K in this higher range here. I guess what I would watch out for here is any sibilance, because that tends to be that frequency range. This looks like a fairly wide cardioid pattern here, so you can see that it's mostly rejecting sound from the back. That's 180 degrees here. You know, it's picking up a pretty wide angle here from the front, which is good, so you don't have to be exactly on axis for it to pick up the sound. Thumb through a few more pages here. It's showing you how to mount the shock mount to a mic stand or a boom arm. And it's showing you how to connect it to a computer using the USB cable and also plugging in headphones. Here's how you plug it into an audio interface using XLR. And here are some of the button functions for muting and what the colors mean. There's an RGB switch there to control the colored lights. And it is reminding you that it is an end address microphone, so you need to speak into the end of it, not to the side. And then there's some Windows setup guides, macOS setup guides, a link guide. There's some software that comes with the microphone, so you can download that and adjust some of these settings. It looks like you could adjust EQ, the colors, a limiter, compressor. You'll need to download the software in order to access that. Here's the microphone itself. The microphone is fairly lightweight. It is a metal housing here, and this knob rotates infinitely. There's no hard stops on either side. And then there is a microphone mute button here, which does kind of make a click sound when you click it. It's not a soft touch. Let's see, is this removable here? Yes, the windscreen can be removed. And oh look, it reminds me of a Shure SM7B with this internal grille design, but this just comes off there. And then this is a translucent plastic material there for the RGB lighting. But you can sort of see the capsule there, the dynamic capsule at the end here. But this windscreen helps minimize plosives, so we'll keep that on there. Look at the back of it, you can see that there's an XLR connector, a USB-C connector, headphone jack, again 3.5mm, and then this is an RGB light here that you can click. And then this shock mount looks like it can be removed, but right now it looks like it's probably tightened down here. There's a screw here, but it's at an angle, and that's what's holding this shock mount onto the microphone. So there's no other way to mount this microphone without this shock mount, and it's not really designed to be a handheld microphone. We'll leave the shock mount there. There are a few silicone O-rings here on the sides that help absorb the shock there. This is a 5/8 inch socket thread there, and then you can loosen this and adjust the angle there. It does seem to have a little bit more than 180 degrees of adjustment range there. We'll lock that into place. This is a USB-C cable. They do not include an XLR cable, but it is USB-C on one end, and on the other end it is USB-A. But it looks like a fairly long cable here, so you can run it up a mic boom arm and still have some cable left over to plug it into your computer. Lastly, you've got this 5/8 to 3/8 thread adapter. If your microphone stand has a 3/8 stud on it, you can insert this, use a coin, insert it all the way and tighten it, or if you have a 5/8 thread, you could just use it without this adapter. I have this short tabletop stand. I'm just going to mount it on here. Actually, I'm going to loosen the middle part here. It's a little trick. So I'm not rotating the microphone around this way. All I have to do is spin. I'm just spinning this middle column here to tighten it down. And that makes it easier to attach a microphone to a stand. Alright, so that's in. I'm going to tighten down the center column so it doesn't keep spinning around. Then I'm going to loosen this knob to adjust it and point it towards my mouth. I think I'll raise it just a bit so it gets closer to my mouth. Typically with dynamic microphones, I like to have them at most 6 inches away from my mouth. I'm going to raise this up so that it's at a good height, and then I'm going to plug this in through XLR to the video recorder so you can hear how this sounds. Alright, now I have this dynamic microphone plugged into the video recorder directly. I have the gain set to 40 dB on the video recorder XLR input because that is the maximum that it supports, and you can hear how it sounds. Currently, I'm about 4 to 5 inches away from the end of the microphone, but I'm talking directly into the end of the microphone. I'm going to have to boost this probably in post and editing in order for it to match the same level. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move the microphone closer to my mouth so that it's about 1 inch away from my mouth. Alright, so right now the microphone is about 1 inch away from my mouth, and I'm talking directly into it. She sells seashells by the seashore. We can also do Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. And you can hear if there are plosives or not with this microphone. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. She sells seashells by the seashore. The shells she sells are surely seashells. That's the sound of this microphone. This is going through XLR. It's an analog connection into the recorder. You could also connect this through USB, and then you could also use the software to adjust the settings on the microphone, like EQ, compressor, and so forth. This is just basic analog connection right now, so you get an idea of how the microphone sounds, but you could always change the tone of it, adjust the balance of the different frequencies using EQ in the software that you download from the manufacturer's website. When you have it plugged in through XLR, you can notice that the lights don't go on. I do have phantom power on, so it's not apparently drawing power from the phantom power, but I think that only happens when you have the USB cable connected here.
MAONO Link. It is a software that controls the microphone, gives you the headphone volume. You can have it on or off. With it on, it allows you to hear your voice through the headphones so you can monitor how you sound. The tone, you have the RGB, which turns it off and on through this interface. You have the advanced, which the only difference in the advanced is the EQ, the limiter, and the compressor. Other than that, it seems to do pretty good. I'm talking on it right now, so I seem to be, I'm actually impressed with the way it sounds. Just wanted to give you an update as to what the software does. You have to download it from their site in order to use it. It is Windows based, and they do have, I believe, a Mac version of it as well. Other than that, I think this is a very good buy. Thank you so much for watching.
Okay, so today we are looking at this microphone. So first of all, this is a dynamic microphone, not a condenser microphone. It's two different technology. It doesn't mean that this is bad. It's just different. It has its own strength and weaknesses. A recording studio would have a mix of both, and they would just pick the right type of microphone depending on what they're trying to record, as well as how they want things to sound like. This is geared toward podcast, and a dynamic microphone is good for normal speech. If you're going for singing and you're female and you sing in the high register, maybe you want to look into a condenser microphone because those have better details in the high frequencies. This being said, let's start taking a look at this microphone. So this is the USB cable that comes with the microphone. It's a USB C to C with an adapter. They're going from C to A. It's a good thickness cable and it's very long. They didn't cheap out on this cable, so that is a good sign. This is the microphone. It's, I think, made out of aluminum. It's lighter than expected compared to my other microphone, but I think my other microphone are made of a different material. Lighter, it's not necessarily bad. When you have this hanging on a boom, your boom won't sag as much, so that's a good thing. This mute button only works when you're connected using the USB-C. This knob here adjusts the volume and the gain, and you can tap on it to select which settings you're adjusting. At the back we have our XLR right here, our USB-C, a headphone jack for monitoring, and one button to change between the different RGB. RGB wise, we have this one ring around the microphone. I'm not a big fan of RGB, so the first thing I did was to turn it off, and you need the application that comes with this microphone to do it. This microphone is mounted on this shock, and this shock is just a plastic ring with elastic all around. It do look very cheap, but it's able to hold fine. At least it's keeping the cost down. And lastly, we get this adapter that goes from a 5/8 inch to 3/8 inch. So nothing else is provided, and you need to provide your own boom or microphone stand. Next, we're going to have a quick sound test, so you just have to listen to the different sound profile this microphone has. Okay, so what you're listening to right now is the deep setting. So this profile favors the low end of the register. If you have a good headphones, you're going to be able to hear it very well. Lower end headphones, you're probably not going to even notice when I'm going to switch over to the next settings, which is the original settings. I just did it now. The original settings has a slight drop in the low end and a slight uplift in the higher register. This is the default settings that this microphone comes in the box. You need this application in order to change this profile. And the next settings is called the natural. I just switched it. The natural settings again has the same trend. Drop a bit in the lower end and lift the high end. As you probably notice, this is a very thin sound. I don't like it that much. It also brings out a lot of unwanted noise from my mouth. And the last settings is the legacy settings, which I don't think anybody should be using. I find it sounds I guess the worst among all three. I hear a lot of background noise, the white noise as well. I think there is less compression because I see a lot more spike in the waveform. While we are on this screen, we might as well look at the other options that this utility let you adjust. So you can mute your microphone, adjust the gain, adjust the volume for your monitoring, change your audio profile we just saw, adjust the RGB. Also under the advanced settings, we can also adjust the compression, and we'll have other fine tuning for the sound preset. As you can see, this is an acceptable microphone. You can always get better if you're willing to pay more. Hopefully this is helping you out. Thank you very much for watching.
Alright, I just want to give you a quick live look at this great quality microphone, and for PCs, or you know what I mean, it's great type of mic that I was quite happy with the quality and the sound. It gives that clean sound, and I'm starting to get into kind of like trying to sing a little bit on my own time, like not in public or anything, just practicing beats and stuff, and just messing around a little bit with music and things I like doing by myself. And this is great quality, and I never had it on right now, or I'm not going to turn it on right now, but I can confirm that this is awesome. It's great quality. It's, you know what I mean, it's easy setup, but it's great. Like, you're into gaming or anything like that too, or streaming, or it definitely great product to have. And around here the light changes like a rainbow different color, but you'll see that in the description. But yeah, it's just a great product to own. Great mic. You're a podcast, you're into that kind of stuff, this would be great. But anyway, I just thought I'd give you a quick live look, and wherever you're watching from, have a great morning or great evening, and thanks for watching my video review.
Hey, what's going on, Amazon? And I just wanted to give a review on the MAONO USB XLR podcast dynamic microphone PD200X. And this is the product right here. As you can see, you can change your colors on it. It's got great quality. I tested it out last night. I'm gonna change the colors for you. And as you can see, you can change the colors to whatever your preference is. And actually, let me cut this off so you can see it in the dark. And whatever your preference is of your color, you can change it. A great microphone, high quality. I 100% definitely recommend this microphone for you. And actually also comes in great packaging. And it comes with the USB cord. If you wanted to get the actual aux cord, you'll have to buy that separate. But once again, this is the MAONO mic, USB XLR podcast dynamic microphone, PD 200X. And I definitely recommend this microphone to any microphone users. If you're a streamer, YouTuber, or whatever you do on the computer, I definitely recommend this microphone. Definitely get it.